In this world, built on instant gratification, where at just the touch of our fingertips we can order food and satisfy most of our bodily desires easily, most men have become weak and remain as boys mentally. We're at a point in history we would rather react to the events in front of us than respond to them. And worst of all, we would rather stay stuck in the same cycles we've been in for years. And if you're one of these men, but you want something different, I have a solution for you, and it's called Stoicism. You see, Stoicism won't just teach you how to deal with the challenges we all face in our lives. It will teach you how to excel at them. And I should know, because I used to be one of these men. But through these 5 Stoic principles I'm about to share with you today, I was able to turn myself from a boy into a man. So make sure to watch till the end, because once you know these 5 Stoic principles, you'll be able to do the same thing. Now, I could probably give you a whole history lesson on Stoicism, but I know you probably don't give a fuck about that. So I'm gonna tell you what you actually want to know about Stoicism. But before that, I need to clear up a misconception, because most people think of Stoicism or Stoics as strong, emotionless leaders who never lets anything affect them. And this is particularly true. But what this fails to also mention is that being a Stoic does not equate to being emotionless like a robot. Contrary to popular belief, you can actually be very stoic and still be very emotional. You can cry, you can jump for joy, you can even become excited and passionate while still practicing stoicism. What people often misunderstand is that stoicism really just equates to having control over your emotions. And the only way to have control over them is to be aware of them, which means it's completely okay to feel things. In fact, feeling and acknowledging your emotions is actually encouraged in Stoicism, because by not acknowledging your emotions, you actually end up suppressing them. And what you suppress always comes back 10 times worse. These are the types of people who will be calm 1 second and then all of a sudden will be passive aggressive or have an emotional outburst seemingly out of nowhere. You don't want to be that person. So by becoming aware of your emotions, you gain control over them. And this control over your emotions enables you to then respond to them through your thoughts, words, and actions, instead of constantly reacting to them. And you might not just realize it yet, but this is extremely powerful, because learning to respond instead of react to the things that are happening in your life is the very thing that allows you to change your life. When you react, you're basically just on autopilot. This is why people get stuck in cycles or repeating patterns in their life, because they're constantly on autopilot, reacting to event after event after event in the exact same way. This causes them to continually live the same boring life that they hate, year after year. But when you learn to respond, you free yourself from your pre-programmed beliefs, actions, and habits, and you begin to put in motion new, consciously programmed beliefs, actions, and habits that get you the results you actually want and create a life you actually want. This is what Stoicism actually is. So, now that you know what Stoicism actually is, the first principle you're going to need to implement to turn yourself from a boy to a man is to actually figure out the type of man you want to become. Just think about it. Most people go their whole lives without stopping to even think, who am I? Who do I want to become? What do I want to move towards? What type of qualities do I want to emulate as I move throughout my life? And I was guilty of this too. I would just move throughout my life with no destination, no purpose. And it was only until I started to figure out who I wanted to be, the type of man I wanted to become, that I actually started to make progress and feeling like my life had purpose. So once you figure out the type of man you want to become, you need to start acting in alignment with the image in your mind of this person. Of course, at first it's probably going to feel a little weird or fake or awkward, but the more you act in alignment with the man you want to become, the easier it will become, until one day, like me, you'll wake up and realize that you've changed. And you won't even know when the change happened. You'll realize that you're no longer the boy who wanted to be a man, because now you're the man that people look up to. Quick announcement, guys. I've recently made a free ebook called Your Hero's Journey that is designed to specifically help you on your self-development journey. In this book, I go over the 10 secret stages of success that everyone will go through in their life on the path to pursuing their goals. Also, if you're experiencing challenges or obstacles in your life, make sure to book a private one-on-one coaching session with me, where I can really help you dive deep into any issues you might be experiencing and get you back on track with your life. Make sure to check the links in the description or the pinned comment down below. As a Stoic, you're going to need to learn how to stop complaining, stop identifying with outside problems, and stop projecting your issues onto other people. You're going to need to learn how to hold yourself accountable and take responsibility for everything going on in your life, no matter the circumstances. So if something is going wrong in your life, if your first reaction is to blame someone else, this message is mostly for you, but it's completely understandable. We live in a society that basically teaches us to look at someone else and point the finger at them instead of looking at ourselves and understanding what we might have done wrong. And obviously, I'm not trying to say that everything is completely your fault and nobody can do any other wrong besides you. I'm just trying to say that you always should come with the mindset of, what could I have done better? And what's the solution to this moving forward? By doing this, you learn to self-reflect. And by self-reflecting, you gain wisdom. And this wisdom will give you the ability to move forward and change it, so this never happens again. By doing this, you will soon come to realize that the answer to all your problems is within your problems. And all you need to do to get the answers to your problems is to think about it. Seems simple, right? And it actually is. The issue, though, is that most people never do this. Because instead of focusing on the solutions to the problems they're facing, they avoid their problems and instead brush them under the rug. But as a Stoic, you don't avoid your problems. You look them dead in the eye and you overcome them, regardless of how they make you feel while you're looking at them. Now, this next principle goes hand in hand with holding yourself accountable and taking responsibility. And that is focusing solely on what you can control. Stoics always maintain their focus on things they can control. And here's an example. I want you to imagine a scenario. As you walk outside, you see clouds everywhere. It's pouring rain, and the sun is nowhere to be found. We of course have no control over the weather, but for most people, the moment they walk outside and see this gloomy weather, react negatively, and their mood starts to match the gloomy weather in front of them. But the person who practices Stoicism knows to not let outside circumstances that are outside of their control determine their mood. Instead, as you walk outside and you see the gloomy weather and you feel the negative emotions start to creep in, because you practice Stoicism, you simply observe the thoughts and then you think, cool, it hasn't rained in a while, I'm excited to see the rain. Or you might even shift your focus from the gloomy weather completely. So instead of focusing on the weather, you focus on feeling gratitude for the fresh air, the warm clothes that you're wearing, how good and confident you feel in your body. You get the point. To be Stoic is to not let outside circumstances cause you to react like the majority of people who do react and feel worse just because it's a rainy day. By doing this, you'll always be able to remain calm and keep yourself happy in a situation that most people would identify as hard or undesirable, just by using the one thing we all have: our ability to respond. But Stoics don't just focus on taking responsibility and what they can control. They also focus on the principles of self-discipline. And the truth is, you can't successfully practice Stoicism if you can't practice self-discipline. They go hand in hand. So if you're the type of person who has trouble with self-discipline, this is 100% going to get in the way of Stoicism for you. And the reason it's so heavily used is because Stoicism is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. To practice this lifestyle, you have to continually be doing it over and over again, day after day. And nobody is going to be encouraging you to do this. In fact, it's going to be the opposite. You see, most people, when they walk outside, they just let everything and anything affect their internal dialogue. But when you're practicing Stoicism, you can't let anything affect it. And to be able to do this, you need to be monitoring yourself. And at first, this may seem hard, but trust me, as you keep doing it, it becomes easier and easier. I'm at a point personally where it's pretty effortless for me to block out things on the outside. Sometimes things get in, of course, I'm not perfect, but the more I've done this, the easier it's gotten. And the benefits of doing this far outweigh the cons of not. And I'll just give you a personal example of me using this in my own life. The other day, I come to find out that I got a ticket for driving by a stopped bus with the stop sign out. As I recall the event, it's some BS, and I'm not going to get into it now, but I found myself getting angry, annoyed, and feeling like, what the hell, this isn't true. And because of that, my emotions were starting to control me, and I was starting to lower my state, and my day was starting to get worse. But because I'm used to practicing Stoicism, I almost immediately went into the thought process of like, who cares? This doesn't even affect anything in my life. And immediately as I did that, guess what? I stopped caring and I forgot about it. And it made me realize that I was the one giving so much importance to this outside thing and not the thing itself. Then when I stopped caring and started thinking, this really doesn't affect me at all. If I have to pay it, I'll have to pay it. If I can dispute it, I'll dispute it. And I continued to have a great day, regardless of whatever happened. Now, this may seem a little inconsequential to you, and to be honest, it is. But these little things happen throughout the day. This is just one little thing that happened to me. But all the other little things that I haven't talked about, I do the same thing for. And because of this, I'm able to stay in a very high state throughout the day. I'm able to stay happy, confident, high energy throughout the day because I don't care about these little things or anything happening outside. I'm focused on what's happening in here. And because of that, I'm able to maintain a high state. And through that high state, I can control my emotions and respond to outside scenarios in the way that I want to respond to them, not the other way around. And if you thought the past principle of developing self-discipline was good, this one is going to help you completely shift the way you experience your reality. Because if you get in the habit of embracing obstacles as opportunities, you will become unstoppable. And the reason I made this principle the last one is because in order to embody it, you need to master the other Stoic principles in this video. By knowing who you are as a man, holding yourself accountable, focusing on what you can control, and practicing self-discipline, everything that happens in your life will become an opportunity because you're choosing to see it as an opportunity. And when you see your whole life as an opportunity, it basically becomes impossible not to grow. And personally, I only just started using this principle a couple of months ago, but it's helped me really improve my outlook on life. And the reason this is the case is because when you start to view everything as an opportunity for you, it's like everything is helping you. So there's no reason to ever feel bad about something, even if a situation is seen as bad by other people and at first maybe even to you. You're able to correct it and see how the situation is helping you. And I'll go back to the bus ticket for an example. Now, if I'm going to use this principle of how to embrace this obstacle as an opportunity, I can use it and be like, well, now I know that if a bus is stopped near me, to just take my time and to just make sure that I'm good to pass it. But even beyond that, if I dispute the ticket, it gives me an opportunity to potentially gain the experience of getting the ticket waived. So now in the future, I can help other people who are going through a similar experience. And I know this isn't the most exciting scenario, but there's going to be a lot of times in your life that you can use this principle. So don't really focus on this scenario, focus on how this can help you. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience that my mood and outlook on life has shifted way up because I never feel like anything is hurting me. I feel like everything is helping me. And that's a big mindset shift, that if you can master the other principles and then master this one, like I said, you're gonna be unstoppable. And along the way of mastering these principles, you're definitely gonna want some help, which is why you should watch this video, where I talk about the 5 AI and tech tools to improve your life as a man.